I'm 22 years old. I by no means have everything figured out, but I do know some things. For example, you can't fall in love with every girl that you talk to at a coffee shop. This video is gonna be filled up with great advice, just like the one that I gave you. On a serious note, the older that I've gotten, the more I realize that certain skills that I've learned has really improved my life. So I think that these are the skills that every guy should learn as soon as possible. The first thing is taking action. And the reason why I say this is such a skill nowadays is because everybody swears that they're an ambitious person, but nobody ends up really doing anything. And I'm not calling anybody lazy. In fact, I think it's quite the opposite. I think too many guys are so worried about being perfect right out the gate that they wind up never starting anything at all. I think I'm a great example of this. I by no means am the hardest worker in the room. It's not like I'm working hours that nobody else can handle, but there is one thing that I do every day, and that is taking action. Every single day, I try to make sure that I'm allocating time to the things that are benefiting my life. So the best advice I can give anybody is stop worrying about how to do things and instead just start whatever you want to set out to accomplish. The next skill is pretty much the step 2 to that, and that is learning as you go. Like I said, everybody wants to be perfect out the gate, but that is far from reality. The best advice I've ever received is you have to be a student at what you are doing. Think about a successful business owner. They're not successful because they knew how to start a business. They are successful because they started a business, continuously improved and learned as they went. And after years and years of continuously learning and improving, that is when they achieved success. Unfortunately, I have too many friends who have come up to me, ask me for advice, and after some time, I'll run into them, I'll ask how are things going, and then they'll tell me, yeah, it's just not working for me. Come to find out, they are just doing the same bare minimum things every single day. They never took the time to learn and improve, and that is a great way to go absolutely nowhere fast. Which brings me on to my next skill, which is patience. We live in a world of instant gratification. I by no means am an exception to that. If I want something, I want it now. And let me be vulnerable for a second. The majority of hard times of my life has been me putting myself in bad situations because I couldn't wait for anything. Here's an example that I think most guys can relate to. If you want to buy something, are you really the kind of guy to hold off, make sure that you could really afford it? Or do you just want it right now? Maybe you put it on a credit card. Next thing you know, you just racked in debt because you did that with 5 other things. Can't tell you how many times I've done that to myself, but that really does go with everything. Being able to have patience and understand that things are going to come when they're supposed to come, or better yet, maybe you're not always going to receive everything that you absolutely want because maybe despite the fact that you think you really want it, maybe it's not best for you. I'm not just talking about materialistic objects. I'm talking about things in your personal life. Maybe it's relationships. I personally am really trying to get better at doing things at God's time opposed to me doing things when I want it. This next skill is an absolute non-negotiable, and that is building a routine and actually sticking to it. Once you're able to build structure and actually follow it, your life will improve so quickly. This is a skill that most younger guys are so late to achieve if they ever achieve it at all. Like I said, I'm 22 years old, so I'm obviously still a really young guy, but I struggle with building routines and actually following it. And of course, I'm not trying to judge other people, but a lot of people that I grew up with, I noticed they just kind of coast through life without any good habits, any good routines. Again, I'm not trying to put myself above anybody else, but I will say that I do notice that I live a healthier lifestyle. I prioritize certain things that most people my age just don't. And it really is all thanks to routines. And look, I don't follow everything down to a T. I'm not waking up at a certain time, eating breakfast by a certain hour, and then getting into work the next hour. But one thing that I am good at is waking up relatively early. I pretty much have a task list of things that I want to do. Like the first thing is skincare. Next thing is something like exercise, then breakfast, then I get into work. You don't have to live like an absolute robot, but you should have an idea of the things that you need to do every single day. And one of those things that you need to be doing every day is eating the right foods. If you consider yourself an ambitious person, dieting is so important. Not just for you to look like an absolute beast, but eating the right foods is just gonna make you sharper, more mentally clear. And from my personal experience, you're just gonna have way more motivation to actually get things done. That's exactly why I put such an emphasis on protein in my diet. And I know sometimes cooking is just the last thing you wanna do, which is why I recommend something like a good protein bar. And look, by now you should know that there's one protein bar that I will never stop talking about, and that is the David bar, which is the sponsor of today's video. And when I say David bar, there's really 2 things that come to mind. 28 grams of protein, 150 calories. You really can't find a ratio that's that good anywhere else. I eat these pretty much every day, again, because high protein is gonna keep you satiated, and you're also not sacrificing empty calories, because again, this has only 150 calories. And my favorite part is the fact that this satisfies my craving for something that tastes so good. So I'm a lot less likely to binge out on unhealthy foods, because this one protein bar has literally everything that I need, especially with these flavors. Like I said, I eat these every day, completely guilt-free, knowing that these are nothing but beneficial. These also don't spike your blood sugar level, which honestly makes this one of the healthiest options that you can get. This is why I'm so confident to eat these every day. And again, from personal experience, these have just been such a huge crutch, especially right now where I'm cutting. I'm down like 12 pounds. And this is one thing that I just can't live without. So if you're interested in trying the David bar, you can scan this QR code right here or use the first link in the description. And if you buy 4 or more cartons, you'll get an additional one for free. Like I said, I really recommend trying these, especially if you haven't already. You could really see why I'm hyping these up so much. So keeping on the same vein as fitness, the next skill that you should learn is working out with proper form. This is obviously the #1 skill that has helped me achieve the physique that I've built today. By no means is my physique the absolute best one on the internet, but I'm proud of my physique. I'm confident when I take off my shirt, and I'm confident when I work out. And that's because I've actually taken the time to understand proper form to make sure that I'm building muscle, reducing my risk of injury. And like I keep saying, it's really made a huge difference. And it's not even just about the form. It's also about understanding what muscles that you're targeting, because there's a lot of guys who go into the gym, they do workouts because somebody told them to do that one, and they have no idea what they're hitting. Since I do a push-pull legs routine, I know exactly what exercises I should be doing to make sure that I'm targeting the muscles that I need to. And of course, if one muscle group is lacking, I know exactly what I should be doing more of. It's also about understanding hypertrophy. Training close to failure, that is gonna blow up your physique like no other. In fact, my workouts are only about 45 minutes to an hour, and although it's a relatively short workout, I leave the gym knowing I did exactly what I needed to do in such a short time period. If you do want a good workout program, I actually offer one. That is gonna be linked in the description as well. The next skill you should learn is cooking. And let me get this out the way right now. You do not have to be an absolute master chef. My meals are so basic, but I at least know that I know how to cook. Again, that doesn't mean cooking good meals. It just means that I know how to cook up something that's healthy and pretty affordable, because eating out every single day, that really adds up. That is a fast way to be unhealthy and just drain your bank account. So for me, I throw things in the air fryer or I whip up fast things on the pan. Again, just keeping things simple, efficient. That is a skill that every guy needs to learn. I mentioned it earlier, but speaking about making sure that you don't drain your bank account, one skill that I've just been on top of is budgeting. Being able to see how much money's coming in and how much money is going out is pretty much the #1 thing that you could do to make sure that you are staying on top of your financial goals. I spent years just eyeballing things, and let me tell you, it is very easy to slip up and just completely burn through your savings account if you even have one. I forget the number, but most Americans don't have a good savings account. This is not financial advice, but here's exactly what I do. I'm still building it up, but I'm close to having 3 months in an emergency fund. At the very least, you should know how much money you're spending throughout the month, so that way you could budget towards that. For me, my main expenses are things like rent, car payment, insurance, phone bill, stuff like that. I allocate some money to go out because I am a 22-year-old living in a pretty big city. Of course, I want to spend some time going out, enjoying my life. And as of right now, I'm saving about 25 to 30% of my money, either in that emergency fund or into the stock market. One tool that I absolutely love is called Origin. You can connect this to your bank accounts and you can just sort your transactions to help you budget. And then Robinhood, that's what I use to invest my money. If you don't have a Robinhood account, if you sign up and put some money in there, we're both gonna get some free stocks. So that's gonna be linked in the description as well. But yeah, that really brings me on to the next thing, which is financial discipline. I mentioned it earlier, but you can't buy absolutely everything that you want. So making sure that you have the discipline to say no to yourself, to realize that there are some things that you just can't buy right now. Maybe you could put it on to later. Most of the time, you're probably gonna realize you're not really gonna want those things later down the road, and being able to live life a little bit more calmly. That is, again, a huge skill that I'm working on, and I really think that could benefit every guy's life. Now, aside from skills, there are certain things that you have to change. So if you wanna see a video about the best life changes that I've made, here's a video to show you exactly that.